Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome back to our season-long sponsored apiary where we're being sponsored by Happy Valley Honey, who are the UK sole distributors of the Honey Paw Polystyrene Langstroth hives. Paul at Happy Valley Honey has supplied us with a range of their products and we're testing them out in this apiary over this season. Today we're going to take another look at the colony where we checkerboarded the 2 brood boxes to see how well they've done in drawing out those additional frames, and we're just going to take a general look at the colony as well. So we'll crack on, get into the apiary and see how they're doing. So we've got another fantastic day. We're surrounded by brambles or blackberries and the bees are foraging on those really well. So I'm hoping that they will have drawn these 2 brood boxes really quickly and with a bit of luck we should be able to get a small crop of honey off them. So we'll crack it open, have a look inside and see how they've got on. So we're into the top box and I can see that they've already drawn quite a few of the frames. Last time they were in a really bad temper. They're not quite so bad this week, so we'll take the top box off, have a look in the bottom box first, and then we'll have a look and see how they've done in the top box. So again, these bees are in a really grumpy mood. I thought they'd calm down a little bit, so we'll go through this fairly quickly. We've got the extra frames in and we'd hoped that they would have calmed down with this weather and a flow on. So we've got the outside frame they're just starting to work on, but I can look down and see inside the poly box here, and they are working on quite a lot of the other frames. So we'll just see how we're doing. And it's never really pleasant when the bees are particularly grumpy. It's never particularly pleasant. So what I'm doing now is just checking to see if I can see any eggs, and that will allow us to just acknowledge the fact that the queen is there, or has been there and has been laying eggs. But I will be using the smoker fairly regularly through this inspection just to control the bees. So one of the frames of foundation, which they're now drawing on both sides, and if there wasn't a decent nectar flow on, we would feed them to make sure that they've got enough sugar syrup to be able to get themselves producing wax. So this frame is predominantly stores, so this would have been one from the outside edge of the original box. And although they are in the air quite a lot, they seem to have calmed down from trying to jump all over my hands, which is always good. So this frame, they've really only just started on drawing. When we performed the shook swarm on this particular colony, they were very quick to draw out all of the combs. So I was hoping that they would have drawn these particular extra combs out well again, but at the moment they seem to have a few frames that they're still working on. Again, just starting to work on the top of that particular frame. I think we need a little bit more smoke. You can see the bees are in the air quite a lot. And of course the queen is now working across 2 boxes, so she could be in the top box. This colony has had some issues with wax moth, so we need to just make sure that we don't have an increasing population of wax moth. We do have another colony that we use the checkerboard system on. So this frame, they've only really just started to draw. So yeah, we have another colony with a checkerboard process that was happening just a week or so ago, and they've done particularly well. They're in a national beehive, so it's a smaller hive size, but they've done really well. And they've actually drawn pretty much all of the frames that we gave them. And again, they were just using the local nectar flow in order to have the resources to be able to actually draw the comb. So we'll pop these back. Again, I'm kind of standing on the wrong side to inspect this way, but I wanted to keep away from the camera. And you can see how the bees are flying up onto my hands. And I don't mind the occasional sting, but I don't really want multiple stings from the first inspection of the day. So that's the first box, the bottom box. So we'll lift the top box back on and then we'll have a look through the top box. So we've got the top box back on and we'll just have a quick look through here, see how the bees are doing with these frames. But as you can see, they are all over my bee suit. And if I didn't have a bee suit on, then I don't think I would still be here, to be honest. So starting to draw that just had a thin strip across the top. You can see where the foundation was, and they're starting to draw that frame down. That had a thin strip across the top simply because when I was embedding the wax, I heated it too much and the bottom section fell through. So we've just put it in with the top section attached. So a large frame of brood on this outside edge, and that's all sealed, so that's good. And so this was foundation, and they're now drawing that quite nicely. This colony is going to need to be requeened because of the way these bees are behaving. It's not something that I personally want to put up with. I know that there are beekeepers out there that are quite happy to have bees like this, but it's not something for me. And of course that's the beauty of beekeeping. We can each choose how we want to keep our bees. This frame is actually full of eggs, so the queen's up here somewhere laying eggs. So although they're not of the temperament that I would like, at least we've got an increasing population, so we can manage that until such time as we've got a new queen to put in here. So Paul at Happy Valley Honey has these products on his website. If you want to take a look, check out the description, and I'll pop a link in the description with some details about Paul and his operation. They're a fantastic bunch of people and very helpful, and if you need any help and advice at all, then they'd be very willing to help you out. Give them a call or drop them an email. Again, I'll put all the details in the description. But it appears that the bees have been working in the top box in preference to the bottom box, because they're really packing out the top box with lots of stores. Now, we won't use any of these for extraction because we did have a feeder on when we first did the shook swarm, so the bees will have stored some of that sugar syrup, so we're not looking to take any honey off them. And in fact, the plan is to just get this colony to draw the top box as well as the bottom box, and then we're going to use the frames that they've drawn to split them down and to create some more colonies. So that's another frame of foundation that I've just put back in that they've drawn. And the bees really are all over my bee suit now, bouncing off my gloves. So we've got another frame of capped brood, and the queen has laid eggs into this frame on the side facing me, and there's also eggs in the side facing the camera as well. Quite a lot of wax moth damage, which we'll look to dig around and find the wax moth culprit. It's the wax moth larvae that causes the problem. And once we've split this colony down into smaller boxes and we've got some queens in with a slightly different temperament, we'll have a closer look and try and get rid of those. So again, this was a frame of foundation. The queen's actually on this frame. She's just moving around in the bottom corner here. But they've drawn that frame pretty well, so it's good to see that they have actually started pulling some of this foundation, because when we put the box straight on previously, if you haven't seen that video, please do take a look at it. The bees just refused flatly to go through the queen excluder and up into the top box, so that's why we checkerboarded them. I actually got a bit frustrated with both the bees and myself for not getting them up into the top box, and they have packed away a massive amount of pollen in some of these frames, so they are going to be well stocked up for the autumn and winter months to come. So we'll get that one popped back in, and that's our inspection complete. We'll just close them up, and then we can look forward to inspecting them again next week. Maybe they will have calmed down a bit, but once they've drawn all of these combs, we can then look to split them down into individual, perhaps 5-frame nuke boxes. So I would normally take my veil off and do a sum up at the end of the video, but to be honest, the bees keep chasing me down the apiary and back to the truck, so we thought we'd just stay here. They're all over the camera. You can see the bees still around me, so we'll need to tackle this at some point. I know that a lot of people do think that having perhaps more defensive bees, aggressive bees, active bees produces more honey. They're more defensive, therefore they protect their colony more. But it's just not comfortable beekeeping like this. If all of my colonies were like this, it wouldn't be an enjoyable profession at all. My thanks to Paul at Happy Valley Honey for supplying us with all of the Honey Paw Polystyrene Langstroth equipment. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you'll support him in at least taking a look at his website and maybe dropping him a message saying that you've seen the videos and that you're enjoying the video series. Don't forget that you can help support us in signing up to our Patreon page. It's a site where you can support us in producing more content and in return gain access to more videos, a podcast, and also other content that's posted specifically for our patrons on that page. And again, I'll put the details down in the description below. For now, I'm going to try and get these bees to calm down and head off and have a look at a couple more hives, and we'll catch up next time. Thanks for watching.